we're trading a lot of our human handshake, hug, conversation relations for this types of of interaction, and it's not good. I think there's a direct correlation with people's self-image, their feelings of worth. Social connection is a big part of it, and I like isolation and being alone as much as the next person, but we're not designed to live that way. I think it was the Mayo Clinic that released a study in 2000. I want to say it was 2011 that isolation. Individuals that are spending day after day basically in isolation, it's as bad for your health as a pack of cigarettes and 6 hard alcohol drinks a day. And I don't think we pay enough attention to that. And so with our product, our goal is always to create a social environment that's welcoming, it's encouraging, it's diverse, and there's no expectations. You're coming out to do something, whether it's the dance and you're just coming out to enjoy that. But it creates this sense and this feeling, and really some people, some very tight relationships. And it's a big part of the connecting. And I think we're just one of the last places in America that people can go and socially interact.
Yeah. That's
not a club, that's not, around drinking or whatever it is. And, it's not a dating site. It's just you're coming and you're exercising and you're relieving stress. You're feeling better about yourself. You're meeting, connecting with new people. I would challenge anyone to find a product that covers all of those bases in a single setting.
We have such a wonderful dance family.
Yeah.
That just a short time after Betty passed, I was delighted to come into the dance studio. She loved everybody, they loved her.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
It's just like being with a real family all over again. So it's kept things on an even keel for this guy.
It just makes me happy. It takes off stress. I walk in the studio and I'm happy. Even if it's just for 40 minutes a day, I'm just happy.
And
physical and mental.
Excellent.
Without a doubt.
And we know it's physical, especially with how many entries you do.
Yes.
And what about mental? What do you mean by that?
It gets all those endorphins going. Gives you a nice natural high.
I think it's mental health. It just makes you happy. And if you're happy, you're healthier. It feels good. You can't have any worries when you're on that dance floor.
I'm ancient and decrepit, but I don't feel it when I dance.
I enjoy the challenge. I feel like I can be the best version of myself, and I can grow and continue to be better in something that I do outside of my profession. So that's what brought me to Fred Astaire.
We're finally dancing again. Isn't that exciting? Okay, the whole weekend is about 2 things: controlled social distancing and controlled social touching.
I'm a proactive person, and I want to reach out to the officials and say, these are the different phases on how we want to run our business. If this pandemic should happen again or while it's happening. And she did help us with a lot of the things that we had to implement.
Well, nobody thought about this. So like in the very beginning when all of this happens, to me, it was in a day. Like we were in one world, one day, life was great, fantastic, we're having the best years of our life. Fred's was on the path upwards. And then I remember we're Ohio, and the governor came in and said, you're shut down, specifically dance studios. And they were like, and you can't go back into your building. So we literally had to make all these like last minute plans, and we had to make up like little mini virtual studios in our homes. Like all of a sudden we went from, like this to like this, with the camera. And that was such a shock to the system. Because I was like you, like I thought, 2 weeks we'll live like this, and then it was 2 months, and you hadn't left your house.
When we talk about controlled social touching, that means we've done many things for you to be aware of to not touch different things. For example, your program has your name on it. Everybody has their own program.
That is really smart, but what's extra smart here is the way that you guys have the cover. So if somebody touches it, you can easily spray it and wipe it off. And that's important because you want to control the touch through the surfaces, who's touching what, how much you're touching everything. And so the fact that you have this vinyl on here, that if somebody does touch something, you don't have a problem, you can easily clean it.
We are now, to this weekend, going to give bottled water. We have a bottled water station right there. When you go up there and you say, I need a bottle of water, they will put your name on the bottle of water. So now when the bottle of water is sitting on the table, it will have your name. Don't grab somebody else's bottle of water and drink it. That is called controlled social touching, right?
It eliminates another point of contact, but more importantly, it eliminates a space of congregation, which is probably more concerning than even the water bottle surface itself. You just are trying to avoid places where people are congregating outside their defined social group. So when they're at their table, it's fine. You know, those are the folks that they're already interacting with. You just don't want to have a lot of folks from different regions of the state or country or whatever that are congregating around a little water station or like your hand sanitation napkins.
I'm just proud to be a part of being able to serve our country through dance to get this accomplished.
That's true. So the main thing was when we're opening up, and those were the different phases on how we would run our studios. But then again, we also have in our industry events. So we had to incorporate those type of things for the guidelines for when we run events.
Right, because we start with brick and mortar. So our first goal is, you know, to work with our governing officials as we were talking to them was that we had to get the brick and mortars up. At the same time, we were offering the virtual lessons. So people that were still needing to be home, you know, we had the solution for them when they were at home. I think that was important. And that when they were ready to come back, that we had met those guidelines. But then we had the next stage, right? And that was what you're saying, like you had all of these opportunities for people to dance. And what was the thing that happened? Never was nightclubs were banned. Right. So every restaurant and bar, nightclub, every social experience was banned. So we had to come up with this other way to meet that goal. So we knew that the art side of it, we knew that the sports side of it, we knew that we could control that. So we said, how can we do this? So we got on another committee, you know, in the events committee in Ohio, and we started to talk to those people about, can we open up under these circumstances? So we sat and we advised those people, and we were able to see Governor DeWine in Ohio open up events for 300 people and under. And I said, solution. And then that's how we got together. So we really get together because we start to talk to you and say, I think that we can solve this, and Fred's can lead the way.
Right now I have Dr. Sedgwick with me, and she's been dancing some Latin tonight. How happy are you to be back doing some dancing?
I don't think there are words that can actually express how happy I am. Ballroom dancing is a godsend for me, and to be able to get back after 5 months is just, it's such a relief. It's a joy. And this is the first time I've done Latin. I started 2 weeks ago.
Nice. So tell me, how safe and comfortable do you feel?
I feel absolutely perfectly safe.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody here has done a fantastic job of enforcing social distancing, requiring masks. They have face shields available for you. There's hand sanitizer on every table. There's bottled water. There's markers on the dance floor. I mean, I'm a medical professional.
I know. That's why I wanted to ask your opinion.
Absolutely. And I do COVID testing every day. That's my job.
Right.
So I'm in full gear all the time. You couldn't ask for a safer event. You really couldn't. I'm very pleased.
I'm glad because I respect your opinion, and I wanted to hear from you. Because the most important thing for us is to make sure everybody stays safe.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean? But then again, we also got to be dancing because we got to
have fun.
Right. Anyway, thanks for talking with us.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm so glad that you decided to do the event.
Oh, you're welcome.
welcome. I was praying that it would not get canceled.
Well, enjoy and stay safe.
Thank you. You too.
All right, honey.
Then we have controlled social distancing. This side of the room is going to use this door to go to these bathrooms over here. This side of the room is going to use those doors to go to the restrooms over there. All right? Controlled social distancing. If you notice your spots, everyone is in groups of 3s. Every table has 5 chairs.
My background, of course, is that my brother was killed in Iraq, and I was forced, very similar like to you, into this situation where I had to deal with governing officials in my life to make a change so I could survive. So I had 15 years of this experience, as a Gold Star family member, and I had a lot of success. So naturally, that part of myself opened up, and which is different probably than most people in the dance business. I was coming from this other world where I had been in Washington, understood the importance of us having a relationship with that health department and our governors. And so I very privately wrote to my governor, waited for the right day to happen. I wrote to my governor and I said, hey, I have this thing called Control Social Touch after I'd done all the research, worked inside of what the World Health Organization said about dance and how important it was to our health and wellness, looked at 53 different studies, put all those together, partner with Brian Blackburn, who is who's a health data expert, and wrote something and sent it to our governor. And he said, sure, Pam. And I said, how can I serve? I want to serve you on this, but we need controlled social touch. I think I have a way to exceed CDC guidelines, and I think that we'll be safe. And he said, okay, let me put you on the committee. And so that's how I got in. But it was that partnership that made such a difference. And then out of that, we worked with the health department officials. We worked with all the governing people in Ohio. And we talked to them about controlled social touch. Yeah. And we said, this is how it works. This is how we're going to meet the guidelines. They taught us what they wanted from us. We said, this is what we want to do. And privately, we were able to reopen, the only ones in the country to reopen with the title, dance studios can open under these guidelines of controlled social touch.
Correct.
And
then
what a miracle.
Because of Pam and Brian Blackburn, basically together, we created guidelines on how we're going to run our studios in different phases.
I'm here right now with Miss Lavanya, who is a photographer and who does a lot of dance pictures all over the country. She's even been over in Blackpool. She gets around. So, how exciting is it to be back at a competition after our sabbatical?
I have been so excited. The minute I walked into the ballroom, I was in tears. Just overwhelmed with all the energy and all the people. This is like, I haven't seen my family in 5 months.
5 months, yeah.
So it's like just being in this room. I don't even care that I'm not competing. I'm just very, very happy to be here.
Well,
so
that's good.
Thank you for putting this together.
Oh, no problem. Well, everybody was honest. They wanted an event. So we took our time and we did a lot of planning so that we made sure we had every single safety measure in place. And of course, this is our first time doing it. So it is a bit of a dry run. The process with everything is a little slower, but on the other hand, everybody's staying safe, social distancing, and the whole.
That's what is absolutely incredible to me, to watch how much of the safety measures that you've put in place.
Yeah, because this is going to be the new normal for a little bit, but it'll go away. But you know what? You can't keep dancers down.
That's what I say about Fred Astaire. Ever since I've been with the organization since 2012 now, I say it don't matter what the situation is, Fred Astaire figures it out. Yeah,
right,
absolutely.
That's right. Well, thanks for
that this is not just for today, but this is for forever. So when John talks about the different phases, we've already thought about here's this virus and this pandemic that we're in that we don't even understand. It's sort of like a snake all the time, changing and evolving. And so John was so inspirational in being able to say, look, this is what we need to do. We need a forever plan for everybody's health in different phases. So great if the virus goes away, we know how to operate, but what's the step past the quarantine? What's that first phase? What's that second phase? What's that third phase? And then he's making sure that every Fred Astaire school, no matter where they're at in the country, has these guidelines. So if you're in Florida, if you're in California, if you're in Texas, and you have different guidelines than Milwaukee has, or you have different guidelines than how Ohio has. And I think this is important to say at this stage and when we're talking about this, is that we're right now, everybody's in number one. We're not letting anybody. This animal that's out there, this virus, is so rapidly changing that we don't feel safe yet being able to put out to any studio, hey, here's the next phase that you can go in. So right now we are following all the guidelines across the country for what is the most stringent, because we just want to be safe, and things are just literally changing every day.
And we've changed our schedule too. If we had 6 teachers, only 3 teachers are teaching, at a time, depending on the square footage of your studio. The times have changed. We've separated people to.
And it's hard. Let's just say this to everybody. This is not easy. But it's not easy for anybody. Everybody's adapting to this new way that we're going to be moving forward. So is it difficult to be dancing with masks? Absolutely. Does everybody hate it? Absolutely. Do we want to dance? Absolutely. So for us to dance, we have to make these changes. We have to make this the most important thing in the room. It can't just be, well, I don't want to do it because I don't believe in it. This isn't about believing in it or not believing in it. It is about we want to not take any risk. So right now we're really doing extreme measures so you and I and you, we can all dance and do these things that we want to. Do we have to adapt a little bit? Do we have to change our dance routines a little bit? Do we have to change, maybe we have to get out on the dance floor. We can dance a little bit. We have to move away from each other, take our mask out. We have to take a breath or, walk outside a little bit, because we just, we want to be smart.
Owners and managers, on each table, there's a little packet of white cards. Write the student's name and place it on that chair. This is going to be Ms. Jones for the whole weekend.
So as you can see, once you come in the door, we have somebody manning the door. That's Miss Annalise, and she's taking temperatures, and everybody has to hand sanitize before they walk in.
Right, so this is important because what's important about the virus is that we know before you enter the room that you are safe and that you are healthy. So first thing when you walk in the door, if you don't have the temperature, you don't do that, you don't get in. And so this is what they're doing. They're stopping this, and this is way above what's expected. So thank you very much for doing that.
Excellent. And as you can see on the floor, we have all the social distancing signs when they come in to register, and then they come over at the registration. Right here we have a video of all of the safety precautions that we've done that plays all day long, and it's showing them all of the safety measures that we have done. So if somebody gets a little confused, they can come right over here and watch the video.
Right. And I think that's important because people a lot of times can't remember. What are the rules? What am I supposed to do? Should I put my mask on? Should I not? When I take it off? And this is what is important to keep everybody educated, especially when you're doing something like this. And there's a lot of touching. We want to control the touch, and this is teaching you how to do it.
So I do think that masks will be a part of our future forever as a precaution for one layer of protection. But what's more important than that layer of protection is your immunity system. So you can't make masks be the replacement to your immunity system. You have to make sure that you're socially connecting with people. You have to make sure that there is some level of physical touch in your life that's safe. You have to do stuff that mentally makes you feel connected, and dancing covers everything.
Correct.
And we have the World Health Organization saying it, we have CDC saying it, everybody's saying if you dance, if you partner dance, you're going to be a healthier person because you do these things. So there's no reason to not dance, it's just how do we do it.
And right now I have Mr. Nikolai from the Mequon studio. He's actually our regional dance director. So, are you happy we're back dancing?
Oh my gosh, the happiest I can ever be this year.
It's been too long. We're so used to dancing every 2-3 weeks.
I was packing this morning to get to the hotel. I'm like, oh my gosh, is this really happening? I actually got nervous, It feels like we're brand new again.
I haven't packed since March 14th. I had the worst time yesterday because we just haven't been traveling anywhere.
No. Meaning the last event we had was end of February at our Winter Bowl, so it feels good to be back,
Nice.
See everybody,
Nice.
The ballroom looks beautiful, the students look happy, we're happy.
And
so,
how about the safety precautions?
Oh
How
my
do you
gosh,
feel?
I feel like we belong here, let's put it this way.
Yeah? What's your favorite safety precaution we're doing?
The tables, the way they're set up, also the whole ballroom is so long now, it feels like we're at the national competition.
We have no on-deck area. You need to be aware of when the next heat is. The number is over here, and if it's heat number 3, you have a program, you have your own program, and you're seeing if you're in that heat. You will come right directly from where you are. There is no on-deck area this weekend, so you will walk on. If you look at the floor, there is 8 decals. There will never be more than 8 couples on the floor. So if you're in heat number 3, you come out with your partner. If you're doing rhythm, you're gonna start at one of the decals. If you're doing rhythm, you're gonna stick around this area. If you're doing smooth, you're moving from decal to decal, counterclockwise.
Yeah, what I've noticed is between the stickers and the table layout and the floor itself, as you mentioned, only having 8 couples on the floor at a time and then having a bigger floor than normal is really improved the when you look at the kind of the safety or the risk of folks, you know, coming into contact with one another. You've done a great job at being able to distance your dancers that way. And then within rhythm dancing in particular, when they're going out and they're starting on these different dots, just like you've got them separated out, it's really increasing the likelihood of success and separating folks out that way. So I think it's a great improvement.
Good. Right now I have Mr. Rick Sopa, who's one of the owners of our Greenfield studio, and welcome.
Thank you.
How's it feel to be back at a dance event after our long sabbatical?
Phenomenal. It feels great to be here. I miss this a lot.
Don't we all?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
yeah, definitely. Look at how much fun everybody's having. It's unbelievable. And safely.
That's so important, because that's our main objective, to make sure everybody stays safe. So what impressed you most about the setup and everything that's going on today?
It feels like everything's been thought about. Like every aspect, the air exchange, the distancing, everything. Touchable surfaces, you name it.
Good.
And even the way you're facing into the ballroom, phenomenal. It was handled so well.
But the one thing to remind folks that the World Health Organization, the CDC, that when it comes to facial coverings, so masks and face shields, things of that nature. Again, the key number is the 15-minute exposure, and the typical dance round is well under a minute.
Correct.
So when you're coming into contact within 6 foot distance, that would be considered controlled social touch, and an approach of that social connection and exposure to whatever you're carrying with someone else. That would be considered safe by the CDC. So you come back apart after that, and then when you layer on top of that, you have a controlled social group. So it's a defined group of folks. They've used words like cohorts, defined social groups. Even when they put like children back together in schools to keep them safe, they've determined, all right, if they have this group of kids, they're going to keep them together throughout the day. That's one of the ways that they've kind of accommodated. Well, dance studios and families are very similar in that you come together on a regular basis, and there's a defined social element to that. So there's more or less a bubble there of folks that you interact with on a regular basis. And within the dance competition, we've approached it the same way as professional sports organizations when they talk about the bubbles they've created for their athletes. We have a very similar type of approach with our dance families and dance studios. So the mask then is part of that whole package, but you don't have to be as concerned about it when you're within that defined social group. What you should be concerned about is World Health Organization, CDC, has also been clear that if you wear a mask that's wet, you're putting yourself at risk. If you wear a mask while you're exercising, it's an additional risk. So you have to be cognizant of that. Doesn't mean you can't wear a mask while you're exercising if you choose to, but it also helps you to know that's why they put those exceptions in place. World Health Organization has been very clear about it, to not wear a mask while exercising. So there's some balance in that, some different opinions on it. So that's why we give people the option while they're on the dance floor, while they're exercising, to wear one if they want to.
Well, we've been working on this for at least 4 months.
Oh yeah.
We met once or twice a week, and for hours.
Well, first thing we had to do is we had to get the list. So I think each of the states we brought together, remember all the lists of every single thing that were in the CDC guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
And then we looked at the restaurant side of it. We looked at the sports side of it, right? We looked at the, just what the dance studios said. We looked at what the gym said.
Right.
We had to put together CDC guidelines from like 4 industries, because we have all those industries inside our world. That was step one, like what were they saying? And that was changing on a daily basis. So John was like every time I would think of something, John would be 5 steps ahead of me. He would say, I have this, I have the sign, So, you know, it takes somebody that's been an expert for like 30 years plus in the dance business to know what are all the different needs, but it takes really great thought and care to be able to put all of those pieces together, because he cares so much about really you guys, and that's the most important thing. He cares about his employees being safe, he cares about his students being safe, and he cares about the business stays on as in a healthy way so that we can provide this for the country. So I do think the time was essential. Like, we had to put in the time to make sure that every single T was crossed, every dot, you know, of the I, because without it, it was a risk.
It was.
You know, even as we're at this event today where we're talking to you from,
We've done changes here.
we keep changing hourly.
This one. We got to change this.
Yeah.
We need to make this. We need to put X's. We need to.
Well, we have to be excessive because we are touching.
Mhm.
So we are doing this. So when you are not in a 6-foot distance, you have to do these extra pieces so that you do not have to be concerned. And, you know, so when we get done talking, what are we going to do? We're going to reach into my pocket here. We're going to get the sanitizer out, and we're going to wash our hands while we're sitting there. Because that's the rule, you know, even as we're close, because what is this doing? This is breaking what's called the viral load. The thing I think people don't understand a lot of times of why we're doing those details is that it's all about like the breathing. So if I have the virus and I'm breathing on you, the mask isn't going to be the only protection that I have. I have to have great air quality. I have to make sure I sanitize. I have to make sure that I control my social footprint of who are all the people that I'm next to.
Wearing a mask.
Wearing the mask. I mean, so you have all of these base guidelines that are essential basics, and then you have off of each of those tiny little details, and you've covered more than I could think about, Sean. And then when you would come up with something, I would say, I got to go research this and make sure that this is right, you know.
So I think the team, you know, she's
It's a
saying
team.
John, but really the team that was really together, that we would meet once or twice a week, everybody had something to do with coming up with a thought, what about this? And we were always open to anything that anybody said, or if anybody had a concern about something. So if they did, we did research on it, we went back, how can we take that, not make them feel concerned?
Yeah.
You know, so, and that's how it all happened with this event.
Yeah.
In the previous competitions, we used to give out towels, and all the dirty towels were handing around on all the tables and everything. We don't have towels at this time. But we do have paper napkins, and as right now, today it's not that bad, but as you're doing the whole weekend, you might be sweating. You could go over there, grab a napkin, dry your sweat, and throw the napkin into the garbage can. Meals. Meals are very important. We have actually 2 rooms, all right? Outside to the left, there's a ballroom there. That's where the food is, right? And there's tables in there. You're not gonna touch any food. You're not gonna touch anything except for the dish. So you walk and you're gonna go, I want some of that. And they're gonna put it for you. You walk down, I want some of that. And they're gonna put it on your plate until you get to the end of the buffet. Usually we're the ones doing it, right? Now the attendants are gonna put all the food on the plates for you. Then you go sit down. When you get to a table, there's only, because it's a round table, only 6 people per table. No water, everything is preset, your iced tea is preset, your utensils are preset, everything is preset for you. So if there's a setting, you can sit down, you can eat.
My favorite safety precaution is those air purifiers that you have all over the ballroom.
I think the technology that they brought, that NASA did for all the air filters, is amazing.
Glassy mask, I just love it. Oh yeah, I never had it before, but now I'll teach in it, I'll live in it, I'll sleep in it. I love it.
The air modules that you guys brought in, I thought that was pretty cool.
Those are the #1 likes so far.
Right, I can't believe you guys got something that they use on the International Space Station
I
here.
know, isn't that wild?
The black boxes are called Air is Pure and Clean and they're patented by Active PureCell. They use light waves to produce super ions to destroy any type of bacteria, viruses, mold, and fungi.
This is pure air. Now this is something that's produced by NASA, and these things take out all of the virus in the air. Anything that's floating nasty, it takes it out. Now for a room of this size, we would probably need 4 of these, but we have 13 of these set up all around the room to keep the air purified, especially because people are dancing, so they're breathing a little heavier.
So this is the most important thing you have in the room, because what everybody cares about, all of our decision makers are saying, we care about the air you're breathing. So what we are within 6 foot of each other now. So if we're in 6 foot each other, we don't want our air to go on each other if we had the virus. So this thing is an air scrubber. It scrubs our surfaces, it scrubs the air and our air, even what's going on our shirts or if we touch each other. So, and this was a technology created by NASA that was sold to an American company called Electrolux, and they put it in titanium dioxide, and they were able to give it to us commercially. So it changes the world for us. I mean, now we really can dance because we have something like this, that we don't have to worry, just we have the mask, we have the air purifiers that scrub the air. I mean, we have social distance on and off the floor. You can't ask for more than that. That is like, and we have hand sanitizing. So all those things together make the difference.
And if you can see, there's a huge bottle of hand sanitizer on every single table. We have the hand sanitizer.
What is that on the tables? I thought it was water.
No, that's hand sanitizer.
Hi, I'm Stephen Knight of Fred Astaire Dance Studios, and with me I have the pleasure of talking to Brian Blackburn, who is a medical data analyst. He's been doing this for 10 years now, correct,
Yeah,
Brian?
about 10, 12 years, specifically in the medical field, but I also build data solutions for a lot of different types of organizations and businesses. Data's data, it just tells a story, and you follow it wherever it leads. It doesn't lie to you. It doesn't. Now, people can do what they want with it, but if you just look at the truth and look at the facts, it helps you to understand, kind of the world around you. So
beautiful.
Yep. So I've been doing that for companies like the Mayo Clinic, which a lot of folks are familiar with. MD Anderson, which is a large part of the University of Texas Medical Center, Duke University. There's just a long list. So it's been great. So when all this kind of broke loose a little bit earlier this year, I actually had a niece that was in Italy when it was all going down, and that in February. And then I had a friend who's another data scientist who had an exchange student with him from Wuhan, China, which is where everything kind of broke out. So about December of last year. So he was in the data, and I started getting into it and really taking a look at what was driving a lot of the policy decisions that was affecting everyone's lives, including the dance world. And being
you being a dancer yourself, a student.
Right, exactly. So I came into Fred Astaire about, I guess it's almost 2 years now that I first walked in, didn't know how to walk across the floor. It's been a great journey of learning how to dance, but it's a fantastic, the CDC that everyone relies on looks at dance as one of the only exercise forms that impacts all of our health, not
Absolutely.
Our physical, our mental, our emotional, and there's this connection, social, relational connection to dance. It's so unique, and there's over 50 studies in the world that have been done on the importance of touch, and with the coronavirus right now and COVID-19, we've kind of stripped away the ability to touch one another, and it's really, really important for us to understand that while we might protect from COVID in some sense, we've introduced new risks to our health, and we're seeing those impacts, especially in our elderly, and even in folks.
Example?
In terms of example of what touch?
No, things that are happening that are not so good.
Yeah. So when you disconnect from folks socially, relationally, there's actually a physical immune system depression that happens. There's studies that have been done. I'll give you an example. So for folks that are in the hospital that are recovering from whatever it might be that they've been in there for surgery. They've done studies of folks that had no visitors with no physical touch versus those who have had lots of family and friends and actually had physical touch. And there's over 50% change and difference. And it depends on the study that you look at. But there's a significant statistical difference in the recovery rates, even those who have died from whatever it is that they're in from. So the ability to touch one another is extremely important. And the nice thing is that with everything going on with the coronavirus and COVID, that the CDC, the World Health Organization, they've actually laid out guidelines that will allow for touch safely. It's just we haven't talked about it a lot.
Now we're at the celebration station, and this is Miss Erin, who handles all of our wave to the camera, Miss Erin. She handles all of our awards. Normally at a competition, after a certain amount of heats happen, everybody comes up for their placements. Well, we don't want all that social touching going on. So what happens is at the end of the day, they come to the celebration station and they receive all of their results and all of their placements. This way, and only Erin handles it. The other thing, this is for the single dancers. We are awarding the multi-dances out on the floor. However, the only person that's touching those awards again is Erin, and she wears white gloves and she hands out all of the awards. We spread everybody out, the final 6 out on the floor. We spread them out, and of course we take a picture from there. So that's how we're handling the awards. Lots of no touch.
No one will touch your videos. If you notice on your tables, you order your video through your phone. It's emailed to you. You don't even have to pay. You pay everything through your phone and everything totally social, controlled social touching.
Are you happy to be back dancing and competing?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we need this socially so much to have interaction with people. It's awesome. And to help us with our thinking and our balance. I'm 69. That Medicare card is hard to get.
69? Girl, get out of here. Look at this body. It's rocking.
Thank you.
So we're not just a gym and a fitness center. We're a wellness center.
Yes, we are.
We're everything.
Prevention is the way to go. And memory, balance, coordination, our posture. As we get older, we have problems. We bend over, we stoop, we fall, we break our hip. Stand up, enjoy the music. Let's do this for our health.
Part of this is just education and communication.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
Understanding. So the more we're empowered with data.
And the fear is when there is no education.
Right.
And people are confused and they don't know what to do and they don't know how to handle it.
Yeah, well, we just kind of like do this, right? We're afraid. And so a lot of the restrictions and guidelines and policies that have been put in place are to protect us. But at some point we have to figure out, as the governor in our state has said, of Ohio, has said we have to learn how to live with the virus, which we have to learn how to live with lots of viruses and lots of risks in our life. So that's what Pam and I have been working with yourself and with John and others to make sure that as we get back to the dance floor, as we get back to competitions like all athletic competitions, all types of exercise, all types of social communities, that we do it in a way that's safe. But it also takes full advantage of the benefits. You know, the number one cause of complications with COVID and 19, this type of coronavirus, is these what's called comorbid conditions. And over 90% of folks who have serious medical issues from being infected with COVID have more than one underlying condition. A lot of folks don't understand what are those conditions. Well, they're common ones like obesity or heart issues or lung issues. And if you're not exercising regularly and you're not in connection with other people getting that immune system boost that comes from that, you're actually putting yourself at risk.
At a higher risk.
Right.
Correct.
So, locking down things for a couple of weeks till we got our arms around what was going on and making sure that our hospitals were ready, those were all, good things and understandable. But at some point, we really have to figure out, okay, how do we get back to living life in a healthy way? And I think...
How do we make people happy again?
And happy,
How
right?
do we make them happy again?
Right.
I can't tell you how many of the students that I interviewed over the course of the weekend that were so excited to be back, and they were thanking me, thank you so much for putting all the time and effort into making this a safe atmosphere for us so that we can come back and do what we absolutely love. I had some students in tears.
Yeah.
In tears.
Yeah.
So definitely making people happy.
Yeah, that loss of connection and that loss of ability just it's in our Constitution, right? It's to pursue happiness, right?
Absolutely.
So what does that look
Amen.
like? And how do we do it safely, though? You know, we don't want to put people at risk.
Of course.
But you know, being able to live. So I think what Pam and I have done with y'all is to help come up with some the basis that of a framework for competition that is based upon the CDC guidelines, World Health Organization guidelines, as related to surface transmission of viruses and airborne transmission, all the things that they walk through. So, and understanding how to do that within the dance world is really no different than the dance studio. It's no different than what's going on in other athletic, you know, fields as well.
And it's our first day, and we've been rocking like crazy. Right now, we're in the middle of our international closed divisions, and I got Mr. Haik Arshakian, who is the owner of the Mequon studio as well as the Pewaukee studio. So he has a lot of students dancing. So is everybody happy? Are they happy to be back dancing?
Oh, we are all so excited to be back dancing. People have been waiting for this moment, and we are finally here.
Oh, I could tell the intensity this morning. The costumes were coming, the hair, the makeup was being done. Everybody was just buzzing around.
We are finally back to our normal beach ballroom dancers. We live for it, so.
Right, and you can't keep ballroom dancers down. That's why we've done all these safety things. So are all of your customers feeling safe with all the things we did?
They are safe, and they are so impressed with all the prep that you guys have done. They feel great. They're like, oh, there's nothing to worry about. We are safe. Everybody's social distancing. The masks are on, so it's great.
Yeah, good. And Brian, let me ask you about, you know, it's very difficult to keep these dancers down. They're excited. There's the enthusiasm, the standing. The people standing.
Yeah, when I came in, that was one of the first things I noticed, because when we did our pre-planning, we made sure that we kind of had the tables positioned close to the floor so they don't have to walk very far. They're out there. We have the tables distanced. We have them collected by dance studio, so that gets that defined social group. One thing we didn't talk about a lot was, where do athletes go just to get their bodies warm? And so we kind of envisioned that they're going to be at their table, then going straight to the floor. Well, that's not really a practical scenario, and it's not necessarily even a healthy one. Athletes have to stay warm, they have to keep moving. So, you know, in certain spaces through the room right now, you'll see people that'll come to the back, walk behind their tables just to get up and move. And that's something we'll keep improving on, I think, at the next events, is making sure that we've made spaces for people to actually do that in the area of their studio, so that they're not wandering around and doing it. Don't necessarily even have to have a warm-up area. You just need to be able to stand up like this.
Well, first of all, thank you, Stephen, and I would like to congratulate you and Gates on running such an amazing event.
Thank you.
And speaking about precautions and everything, like the air purifiers and everything, the masks, the sanitizers, and everything you guys have here in place, people do feel safe, people do have an amazing time. And one of the things that I was thinking about is, I know we're living through unprecedented times, and we're dealing with another yet bacteria. And if you think about bacteria, right, the best weapon against any bacteria is your immune system. And as all we know, that immune system is being supported by three main factors: eat well, rest well, and exercise. Now, what would be better when it comes to exercise coming to the dance studios, right? So dance studios, like when you're dancing, like all group of muscles are involved in the motion. So you do what you love doing, and yet you're strengthening your immune system. Because we are not part of the problem, because I know a lot of people still cautious, oh, there's going to be people there. And if people can go to supermarkets or Walmarts or the Home Depots that have a lot less securities, like in terms of like health, you know.
You're right.
And what I've seen you guys do, and we start coaching right now actively, and I see what the studios are doing right now to make people safe. You know, you actually do come and you exercise and you strengthening your immune system. Masks are important. Yes, we need to wear masks. We need to wash our hands. We need to sanitize our hands. We need to take all the necessary precautions. But yet, the best tool, I strongly believe in it, is our immune system.
I have so many people that say to me, you know, that are older, that say, nobody will touch me anymore. Nobody's going to touch me because I'm too old. You know, people don't want to touch me. And so they said, you know why I take the dance lessons? Just so I can get into the girl's arms again. The guy will tell me, just so I can get in her arms, like, and I'm the guy.
Yeah.
And I could do that. And a lot of women said to me, I just want to feel like I'm a woman.
Yeah.
And so you know how important you are, and you have seen how people's lives change from they're bent over when they start with you, and they're upright, and they're proud, and they're happy, and their lives are full. And you know that that's why dancing is so vital. We know that, we talk about it in a different way, or the public sees it different, but we know it's essential to their life. It's essential from a wellness perspective, not just with diet. I mean, diet of course, exercise of course, but dancing is about emotionally connecting with another person. It's about heavy intellectual thinking. We have to figure out what the other person's thoughts are, where they're taking you, how you're going to do it. Your body has to physically respond to that. I mean, that's just like playing chess at like a high level, physically on the dance floor, right?
Exercises, I don't need any other exercises if I do it 5 nights a week for 3 hours.
It keeps me stress-free and just gives me a chance to be creative and artistic.
Love dancing. It's a great exercise. It's spiritual, it's intellectual, physical. It's just wonderful.
I graduated from his Integrative Medicine Fellowship in 2012, and dance and music were a part of our curriculum. So today, as a medical professional who is a graduate of Dr. Andrew Weil, I can say, America, wake up and dance, please.
It's a lot of fun, a lot of exercise, challenges your mind, and keeps you moving.
I think that we're spending all this time together in something we mutually love.
And like I said, it's a very good exercise. We're building up stamina where we can dance these 150, 200 dances, and we get to do it together.
Dancing incorporates a lot of the activities that you need to maintain your mental acuity.
This is very sincere. Everything I've said, by the way, is super sincere. Because I do, like I said, every day it gets me in the best mood ever. It's like literally, instead of taking an antidepressant, people should just dance.
Yeah.
And I personally love the fact that I go, wait a minute, there has never been in 58 years a form of exercise that I even enjoyed. I said, maybe I'm not meant to move much. Maybe I'm just sort of one of those people who hates to move. The second I did this, I said it's magical. So even if you've hated to move all your life, I think you should really try this because it's the thing that's going to win you over.
It's a concept called viral load, and the CDC has explained it this way. There's something called contact tracing. So if you've been infected, you might infect someone else who might infect someone else. So we have a policy here within the dance competition in our studios to make sure that we know who someone is in case they get infected or test positive, so we can find out who else they might have touched. But there are scenarios where they won't contact trace, they won't do follow-up. And in the CDC guidelines, it's very specific. It says you have to be exposed to someone with direct exposure, no mask on, within 6 feet for more than 15 minutes. Okay, so if you're under 15 minutes, even with direct exposure with no mask on, the CDC says you don't need to contact trace. The reason is this concept called viral load. And so viral load, I explain it this way, it's a nice analogy. If you go outside...
Yeah, keep it simple.
Yeah.
keep it simple, Brian.
What's sort of like the dance steps, right?
Yeah,
We just got to figure out how to take one and then we'll go to the next. So it's a little bit like this. If you walk out outside and you get a drop of water on you and someone tests you, you're going to test wet for moisture, right? Mm-hmm. But that little drop of water, if I come up and touch you or give you a hug, I'm not going to test positive for moisture because it's gone, it evaporates, right? But if you go outside and you stand in the rain for 10 minutes, you're going to be soaked, you're going to need to change your clothes, and now if I come up to you and I give you a hug, I'm going to be wet. And it depends on how long I give that hug, I might need to change my clothes as well. And that's kind of how viral load works. If you go and look up the research on it, you have to be exposed to the virus for a long enough period of time to have enough virus in you to actually have sickness be caused. And that's why folks who have other underlying conditions with those comorbidities, that's why they're more susceptible, because they don't need as much exposure to virus. And it's not just COVID, it's any type of virus, in order for that viral load to have a different kind of impact. So that's kind of how I explain it, and folks seem to understand that a little bit better. So when we put masks on, or we do social distancing in particular, when we do hand washing, 80% of respiratory illnesses like COVID are actually not caused from airborne transmission, it's from our hands. So hand sanitation is actually from the very beginning was the number one thing, and it really still is. It's these extra things that we do kind of build upon that. But as long as we're, trying not to touch our faces and our noses, and just like we were taught as kids, right?
Right,
Wash your
right.
hands.
Correct.
So those are kind of some of the things that have gone into the plans and the preparation for the event. And as I've looked out on the floor today, it's and last night, yesterday, you guys have just done a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, we had a lot of help, and we did a lot of research ourselves, as well as had the help from you and Pam. I mean, even our safety video, I mean, that thing was in production for like 3 weeks, because every time we turned around, there was something new, something changed, and some new data, whatever. So we had to go back in and do it. So you guys have given us a lot of help. And again, the thing for us is making sure that everybody stays safe.
Right.
Everybody stays safe, and they're able to enjoy the beautiful sport hobby that they have and bring back joy into their lives.
Right.
Dancing has helped me so much physically and mentally that I get out here and I can't quit smiling because I love every bit of it. And it's had wonderful health benefits. I had actually gotten osteoporosis in my back, and the doctor feels like that it's gotten better because of the dancing. So
huge stress reliever for me. And as soon as I walk into that studio, the whole world gets left behind.
Because of how young it makes me feel, how wonderful the staff are, and the way the dancing makes me feel. Keeps me young.
Because it's fun, it's great exercise, it's fantastic distressor. Love it.
It gives me life, it gives me joy, it gives me social interaction, things outside of my home. I have a 2-year-old little boy, so it definitely gives me a little bit of life outside of that. Not just to be mom, but to be me too.
But I tell you what, you really move a lot and you have so much fun and your heart rate goes up. I'm like, this is not only fun, it's exercise, so I can't even believe it's out there. And I feel like the universe just put this in my path for a reason.
The CDC has called out dance as one of the primary, if not one of the only few types of exercise that folks can get that
we
involves
knew
the
that
entire
dancing was
person.
wellness.
Because again,
we
that
knew
social
this. We
connection
knew that
and the
touching
importance of social
under a
touch
controlled,
inside of
safe
that.
way,
So we
meeting
keep coming
all
back
the
to the
rules that
idea
everybody
that
said
it can be
would
done,
make us
and not
healthier
only can
to
be done,
fight
but
the
it needs to
virus.
be done. It's something we're created to do. That's who we, as people, to express ourselves, to connect with people.
That's why when they went and classified us as a gym and a fitness center, we're so much more. We are a wellness center because we have benefits. Our students have so many benefits from coming in and learning how to dance. Like you said, they've got the mental, they've got the emotional, they got the physical. That's not happening in gym and fitness centers. That's happening in Fred Astaire dance studios.
Our activity really helps you as a person fight and makes your body fight any type of virus that is out there. So
yeah, we want to build immunity systems.
Correct.
That's the most important thing. And so you have to have all the 3 modalities, which the World Health Organization says. You have to have social connection. And, it's vital to your health. You have to have, mental health, and you have to have physical health. So if you eliminate, and we knew this, and we were talking to the governor's committee about this, if you eliminated social connection, if you eliminated emotional, how could you maintain this? And so we understood all of those problems that everybody was facing and we were facing. And so we said, I think if we do it this way, with your support, we're going to be able to be, sort of a partner, fighting the crime, basically, which is, the crime is this virus. So, we were like superheroes in that game. So I feel like we're being so courageous to really offer this product out to the public, especially now. I mean, you saw that. Like, what is the first thing that when this virus hit that they did? They showed dance videos every day, virtually, to keep everybody social emotional side of themselves lifted up. It was the most important thing. And you looked at that and you said, this is the solution. It was the solution for every crisis that America has ever been through. Dancing has been that solution.
Exercise.
Exercise?
It beats jogging.
It's a combination of health and emotion, because health, obviously there's the exercise that's there, but it is a breakaway from my work, my everyday work. It's just a fun way to not think, just have fun and enjoy life.
Fun, it's just energizing. It's a great workout without having to do any work, no gym. The people are great. You're always learning, and the music is just amazing. So it keeps me moving, it keeps me young, and it's a blast.
Because of all of the fantastic people that we've met during this process and this journey, and also how it makes us feel on the inside. There's nothing like dancing to a piece of music with your dance partner that you love to express what your emotions are on the inside. We actually came to Fred Astaire 10 years ago to learn a dance for our 25-year vow renewal, and we never left. We loved it so much. So I would recommend that anybody that is going through something in life, dancing will help you to get past it because of how it's going to make you feel about yourself and about life.
We definitely have a lot more closeness. It's a very intimate, romantic way to do something else together.
Nice.
Yeah, you get a closeness of dancing together, and it's just fun. It's just a lot of fun and good exercise.
That's excellent. Do you guys have...
What's interesting, it is hard because as a stand-up comic, you are a lone wolf. Like, you are on that stage, you are by yourself. Stand-up comics are relentless to each other and mean to each other. So I go into the first dance party here at Fred Astaire in Trumbull, and I'm like, oh my God, they're all nice. Like, the guys are dancing with you, even though, like, you're 58 years old and they're not trying to have sex with you. Like, it's, like, freaking amazing. And I'm like, oh, so this is what community feels like. So it literally is, for someone who's the most extroverted introvert who ever lived, it's like, wow, a place that I didn't know existed that I probably always was looking for.
So far, how are we doing, Brian?
We're doing great. You know, this being one of the first significant events like this we've done, there's going to be areas of improvement, and we're going to keep improving on them for the next event. But for the first one, I think it's been fantastic. Right out the gate, reminding people kind of what the rules were, how it changed a little bit, but not taking away the joy of the moment as well. You can hear the music going on, you can hear people and feel the energy, and that's only good for health. And that's what we need to be able to fight COVID, as well as all of the normal procedures that, you know, kind of are in place. So I think we're gonna see is the folks that are participating in an event like this are gonna go away healthier than they were before they came and participated in it.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
Right. So there's no prevention or risk aversion method that's 100% foolproof. But I really feel like you guys have done everything that's been asked by the local health departments, state of Wisconsin, the CDC, World Health Organization, to make this as successful as possible.
His name is Brian Blackburn, and stand up. So now they're here today to either give us the thumbs up or the thumbs down, and I would be glad to tell you that we got 2 thumbs up.
Dancing is the highest pursuit of happiness, really, between two people. When a couple come in and they're looking for how to better connect, they're coming here because they can't. They're not going to get to talk about the bills. They're not going to talk about the kids and the college and the debt and the problems. They are going to only go like this.
Yes.
What is more important than that in life is the relationship. And Fred Astaire's is about creating small families that can connect, dance families all over the world. If we can continue to do that, I mean, what is a better thing to do with our lives? How can we not fight for this? Yeah.
So we're excited. We're moving forward in the right direction, and I think it's only made us better.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's made us so much better with the virtual lessons, with the private lessons, spacing, the way we're running our business.
We were saying this, like I said, the competition is so much more efficient than it's ever been. People are happier than they've ever been.
Yeah.
Because you kind of get out onto the floor and you have space.
Yeah.
And you have all these things that maybe we would have never dealt with we always had, as we sort of just felt it was just part of the product. And now with these pieces, you can see even a better product emerge.
Yeah.
You see a better sport show up. And that's an exciting thing to see happen.
Yeah.
So there has to be a plus side.
So,
And people
I
are
mean-
kinder because they're so grateful. They're so grateful to be back. You can see people were just, it's like you're getting back up on the horse after you fell down and you got hurt. And and people were really afraid to come in here. And all of these courageous people that showed up and said, dancing is worth it, dancing's
Correct.
important. You have 5,000 entries of proof that dancing's important. You have to feel so proud of that. You have to, because that's evidence that people care and that they want this and that they need this. And so we want to come out of this and say, let's do 10,000.
Yeah.
Let's see the world do this. I'm excited.
We're all going to be safe. We're all going to have a great time. And we're going to move on. We're going to continue dancing no matter what. That's the important thing. All right? Very good.
When we start focusing on the needs, which is really the benefits that dance can bring to a person's life, on the 4 pillars: physical, mental, emotional, and social well-being. That's what we're about. We're about giving people those benefits. And oh, by the way, we use dance to deliver that.